Mason. When we break it down, you have Ma as in mother, son as in offspring of the mother, Mason. So when we're talking about the Masons and the masonry schools, you're talking about something created by the woman whereby she's teaching her son the esoteric knowledge and the basis of the information concerning this dimension. I need to go back to the Anunnaki, because I talked to you all about how all of this is cyclical and there's constantly a battle and a fighting. But when you start doing your research and you start reading these different stories, what you're going to find is similarities in the stories. So with the Anunnaki, one of the things that they were having a battle with amongst themselves is that we're creating these beings, but we don't want them to be equal to us. Pay attention. Pay attention to what I'm saying to you. We're creating these beings. We want them to have knowledge and intelligence, and we want them to kind of be like us because we're going to give them tools. And we need them to have hands and fingers so that they can manipulate these tools that we're going to give them. But we don't want them to be intelligent like us. We don't want them to have the knowledge like us. We don't want them to have the longevity that we have. They can't be equal. We need to keep them beneath us. And so we're not going to give them all of our essence. All right? Same thing happened with the woman and the male. Let's be clear on this. The male is in the image of the woman. And I get it. I know I'm going to upset some people. Calm down and relax and go do some research. The male is in the essence. He is the essence of the woman. Do I have my DNA up here? Because then I can pull it up and then show you. But I'm not going into that today. I need to stay on the oracles and the Sibyls. But I'm bringing this up because the way we look at it, and we've been taught in this society, now the woman is subservient to the male. And that's not how it is molecularly, even though, oh, he's stronger. Okay, he comes from her. And the same thing with the Anunnaki. You don't see them anymore because not only did they try to keep the humans subservient to them, but they try to destroy the humans. And in doing so, they destroyed themselves. Now, some of them are still here. Some of them are still here in a different form. You can't recognize them, but they're still here. And the thing about the woman is that she did some dirt to the male. She did. And when you start reading in history, and I'm going to give you one in particular, because a lot of men, and I'm going to go into this tonight as well. So let me just finish this statement, and then I'll go into that. When it came down to it, the woman did create the male. She did. And she treated him the same way the Anunnaki wanted to treat the human. He can't be equal to us. And so a lot of people are thinking, well, he is stronger. He was this. No, let's understand this. When it comes down to it, the woman's brain is larger than that of the male's. The woman is going to outlive the male. She has longevity of life. She has higher intelligence. She has a higher spiritual connectivity. It's not saying anything that he can't. I'm telling you what she is. And the problem is that she has forgotten who she is. And so she did dirt to him. And so again, when we start talking about the universal laws, she has to receive the energy that she put out. I've told y'all several times, there is no such thing as a victim. So when we look at women and her subservient nature and how she's subjugated and how she's made a second-class citizen, that's not happenstance. She put that energy out and she's receiving it. All right, so what I'm just saying to you is that this is a situation where there's this battle where, again, the woman was originally ruling. When she was ruling, she was not fully righteous to the male. And as I said again, when you create something, you better create it with love. You better create it such that it's better than you. Because when you don't, you've got to come back in it. And you've got to deal with every energy that you put on that being that you created. You're going to have to live in the grave that you dug for somebody else. The Anunnaki are doing that right now. I'm not going into it. One day I'll tell you about who they are, because they're still here. And the women who created these beings that we know of as males, she wasn't righteous when she created him, nor in the treatment that she gave him, and now she's experiencing the energies that she put out on him. That's universal law that I speak about so often. Okay, so let me get into this, because when I first started, I said that when beings are conquered, when entities are conquered, their history is rewritten. Now, once again, let me go back to this. Those scriptures, they go back so far they cannot be dated. Where they come from? Sibyls and oracles. Those women who wrote prophecies. And so then what we're talking about, when the males started to take over, in that time, 1000 BC all the way up to 1000 AD, they really took over. Now I want to go over some things in history, because I talked about the Mason. When the mother started teaching her sons this esoteric information, then he eventually was able to take her over with that knowledge. I'm going to say this again. There's so many cycles in this story, so many similarities in the different stories, because it is the melanated people who created the Albion. My Albion people who are studied and they have knowledge, you come from the melanated people. And what happened was, it was the melanated male who started teaching his offspring from the Albion women, how to take over government. And now you see where we are here in the Americas. C. Royal says, why was she not righteous? What woman was not righteous? I want you to look up Khalifa. Queen Khalifa, and this is just one of them. There were several of them who did this. It wasn't just her. But when you look into, and you're going to have to dig, by the way, because they want to tell you that Khalifa is some kind of mythological. And I want to remind you that the term mythological does not equate to lie. They're going to put that term mythological on it because there has been information that has been purposely hidden, so that you can't really go back and find this. So it's mythological because we really don't know. We really don't have a lot of knowledge. That's because somebody burned it on purpose. It's not a myth. Dig deep. So Khalifa, for those of you who don't know, was an all-female tribe in what we know of today as North America. And Khalifa, they procreated on their own. That's not the only all-female tribe. There also was the Amazon women who were of South America, or what we know of as South America today. And these women, when men in particular, I can't speak about the Amazon women, what they did. I don't have any stories on them. But the stories I have on Khalifa is they had pets that were like, you know, those birds from, the name of the movie is Avatar. You know those birds like on Avatar? Khalifa and her tribe had those kind of birds as pets. And when men would come into their territory, they would feed those birds. They would feed those men to her pets or those birds, because they didn't want them in the territory. They're not the only ones who did it, but men would be tortured. There was other stories about how the women of what we know of as North America would sell the boys off to other territories. They would sell them, all right? Or, you know, I haven't read any stories about them trying to kill them, except for in the Bible when they talked about how the Egyptians wanted to kill all the boys. So I'm just saying to you that those are just some of the stories. And remember, a lot of stories concerning the women have been purposely destroyed. Knowledge about who the women were in history.